Okay, I do have one complaint about Andor Season 2. What? It's a minor one, but it's with this release schedule. One of the things that I enjoy the most about being able to watch these shows week in and week out is to be able to speculate, think about what's going to happen next, wonder where they left us off on the cliffhanger, what's going to happen to our characters next. And we really get one arc at a time, so we don't get a lot of opportunity to speculate. So I'm going to make sure right now today we are going to talk about what I think could be coming next in the next arc or the coming arcs of Andor Season 2. So what do we know? We know that Dedra is taking over the Gorman project. We do know that there is a very particular need from the Empire to mine for calcite there on the planet. But to do that, they recognize that it's going to make the planet completely unstable, even possibly make the planet completely collapsing in on itself as they have to mine really invasively all the way to the core. And there's really only way that that can effectively happen without the rest of the galaxy seeing the overreach of the Empire, and that's for the Gorman people to leave, to be gone and allow the Empire complete and total control of that planet. Their original plan was to bring in a marketing firm and try and spin this all using propaganda to make the Gorman people look like the problem, look like the ones the Empire has to go deal with, thereby allowing the Galactic Senate to see what the Emperor is doing as something that's, hey, it's justified, it's okay, it's not something we have to actually worry about. We'll go on to the next thing by keeping it kind of in the shadows as this thing that's needed to be done to anyone who's going to rebel or anyone who's going to be a problem and not obey what has to be done. And honestly, their job was pretty easy. They showed some of the propaganda they'd already made. It wouldn't be that hard to make the extravagant, the wealthy, the rich out to be those who are the enemy. They're the ones that are the problem. They're the ones that hoard everything. Look how arrogant they are. Look how uppity they are. All of these types of things. I'm pretty sure to some degree the propaganda would work, but Dedra knows the propaganda won't work, and it's why I think she is the key to the entire season of Andor. She's the villain we need. I think she is going to be the one to make everything happen that is going to cause what we know as the Gorman Massacre. That's going to be the domino that really sparks the rebellion. She's going to be the one that we end up hating because of what she does. I think she's the perfect villain. She's been positioned this way. I also think the way that Denise Grow talks about it makes it sound like we're not going to like Dedra after this season. Here's my theory as to what she's going to do. She's already said, hey, I don't believe in the propaganda. Instead, you need a rebel insurgency. And we also know that she doesn't really want this gig. She wants to go after Axis. She wants to continue fighting the real fight, not this supposed fight. Even though she's told, hey, if you do this, this is a fast track to the top. If you get the Emperor his unlimited power, he's going to love you forever. You're going to be his favorite. And we know once you're a favorite of the Emperor, you've got it pretty good. That's the only way Thrawn made it all the way through the Academy, and why we see so many humans in the Empire, because there was a great distrust of aliens. That's a whole nother story for another time. But basically, here's what I think she's going to do. I think she's still going to be chasing down Axis. And in fact, I think she is going to use Gorman as an opportunity to try and draw out the rebels that are already fighting. She's going to use it as an opportunity to try and reveal who Axis is. And there's only one way. There's only one way that you would draw out of hiding the rebels. And that's if they thought they could bring people to their cause. What is the one thing? Well, what is one of the things the rebellion needs? It's people. They need to keep recruiting. We saw that at the beginning of episode 1, a recruit. We've seen them lose recruits. We've seen what it is to have these other rebels who are kind of in be super disorganized. They need people who are all about the cause. And where's the perfect place to go get people for your cause? Anywhere the Empire is crushing its boot onto the neck of the people. So I think the way that this is going to go down in some way, shape, or form is that there is going to be created and manufactured some kind of small, not huge, some kind of small altercation and or some kind of thing placed upon the Gorman people, whether it be used as propaganda for the reason they had to do it, but knowing that it's going to bring about a rebel pushback. And I think that's what's going to end up happening. And it's going to lure people like Cassian, like Luthen, and all of those to Gorman. And so she's going to leverage this new role, even though the point is to be able to set things up to get the Calcite. Her ulterior motive is going to be about chasing down Axis. And in all of that, she's going to, I think, be took to task by Krennic because of her divided attention. It's going to become apparent somehow that really her goal has always been these rebels not getting what they need out of Gorman. And so, as a result, I think Krennic then will overreact, try to stamp things down. Hence, the Gorman massacre comes about. I have a feeling in some way that Dedra is going to be under pressure, hence why I think she's pulling at her collar, because I still don't think it's a force choke. I think all of that is going to come into play because she's unwilling to really just put aside the Axis stuff and go for this one project. She's not that type of person. Neither is Cyril Karn. That's why they're so good for each other. They can never let go of the thing that they're chasing. So as I was editing this, I realized something that kind of everything came together as a piece. So yes, I still think Dedra is going to bring about the rebellion to Gorman, but her real motive behind that is to bring out Axis and even get after Cassian but she can't do it publicly. She can't do it overtly. So who does she trust? The only person she can trust, Cyril Karn. He's going to be covertly involved on Gorman, trying to get information, even track down more information about Axis, seeing if they can figure that out. And then that's when Krennic learns about everything. He gets upset. He overreacts. He smashes the hammer down onto Gorman, just killing everyone. And Cyril gets caught in the crossfire and ends up dying as a result of all the sneakiness behind the scenes of Dedra. Enough about that. Back to what I was saying about how Gorman is going to actually cause a huge problem for the Empire going forward. It becomes an even bigger problem than Ferrix, an even bigger problem than Morlana 1, an even bigger problem than anything up until this point, and it's going to be the spark that tips the scales in favor of the universe, the galaxy, looking and seeing, hey, wait a minute, what is going on with this Empire? It's going to be the rumors that circulate, just like we saw in Narkina 5, when they're like, hey, what actually happened down on that level? What actually went on over there? And once they start to hear the truth of what the Empire has done, it's all going to fall apart. And Mon Mothma is going to leave the Senate, and it's all going to be because of Dedra. Now, I know that wasn't overly specific because I'm sure there's going to be a ton of details that I get wrong that aren't really a part of this next arc or the second arc. I'm not sure if it's this next one or if it's the one following, but I think that Dedra at the end of it is going to be the key that really pushes this story forward. She's going to be the one at the forefront. And I think Krennic is really just going to be there to be looking over her shoulder, breathing down her neck. But Dedra is the one that is going to make it all happen. But it still also leaves the question, what's going to happen to her after the season? Is she going to die? I don't think she's going to die. I instead think she's probably going to get promoted as a result of all this stuff because they want to make it look like a good thing. They're probably still going to get their Calcite. And then Dedra's going to end up with a position in the newest, best place, the Death Star. And we all know how that's going to end.